Diego, Richard, Shamar, what about your guys' insight? Have you ever experienced somebody going through a mental health crisis or anything of that sort around your environment?
Yeah, I've actually had a few friends who have experienced anxiety and depression. I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand. A terrible experience happened in their life, and their anxiety were at levels where it's like chronic, crying, physical. You were able to physically see what was going on with them. Again, they felt hopeless. They felt like they didn't belong in the world because everything just felt like, I guess they felt like a detachment from everyone else. And this was due to a situational event. It wasn't like something that they were born with or had long term. So, in this case, that person was able to find treatment. They were put on medication for their anxiety. And what Julio said, he was scared in the beginning to look for help because he didn't want people to think that he was crazy. He didn't want to take medication because, again, he's like, the medication's for crazy people. But, with a little bit of emotional support from his family and friends, we were able to get him on the right track, take the medication, see a therapist, and he's doing good now. He was on that medication for about 6 months, 8 months, and after that he was able to cope and live his life normally.
Very, very, very happy to hear that. Very happy to hear that. Diego, any thoughts, insights?
Yeah, I actually suffer pretty bad from anxiety from time to time. It didn't, like, I've always had anxiety in my life, but I'd say it significantly got worse during high school. And I've had, about 3 significant, I would say, anxiety attacks where I've like needed help, that I needed someone, besides myself to get me through those situations. I think I'm very grateful for those people in my life. And it makes me realize that, not everyone has that same support system. So I try to be there for everyone else that, may be lacking in that department.
Yeah, definitely. Understanding and empathy is another tool that we can use as well as we approach somebody in a mental health crisis. Shamar, do you have anything to add, bud?
I haven't really had anything mental. I mean, there was one instance where I've told you this, Justin, that I don't have a good relationship with my father just because he was really abusive when I was younger. And I remember my mom, she told me that he was slowly getting closer to California or to getting to Sacramento. So he was slowly moving states and coming closer to me. And I remember I was at the golf course at that time and I had a severe breakdown. Like, I couldn't stop crying. People were looking at me crazy, and I had to call my youth pastor and then my grandpa after that. I was like, I don't know what to do. I just couldn't stop crying because I was scared in that moment. And wow. I was lucky to have those people around me, but it made me think, what do people who don't have those people around them do in situations like that?
Absolutely. It's huge if we don't have our peer support or chats like this to talk about, thank you all for being so brave and transparent with sharing your experience. I'll add to that just a little bit. In 2014, my mother attempted suicide. She swallowed a bunch of pills and she kind of wanted to give up. She was very overwhelmed at the time. I had surgery and I'm the oldest in the family, like trying to help her out financially. And she was just struggling to pay the rent, to keep food on the table, to make sure everyone's going to school and taking care of their business. And it was a lot for her, but thankfully we called the ambulance, 911. and they rushed her to the hospital and pumped her stomach and saved her life. You know, so those things we do deal with. I mean, you know, they're out there. They're definitely out there, and we all have our story. We all have our experience. So again, let's talk about what we can do in those situations, because I know I felt very confused when that happened to my mother. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how to address it or what to do. I just knew call 911. It was the right thing to do. But let's dive in a little bit deeper into that. So what do we do in a mental health crisis situation if we're like somebody from the outside and we're looking at a stranger dealing with one of these situations that we all talked about? Who do we call in those moments? I'll just kind of let you guys add to that. Who would you call in a mental health crisis when you're out and about at the grocery store and someone's having a breakdown, or you know, you can hear someone say they're having suicidal ideations or such?
I would call my aunt personally, my aunt Mariana Sousa, because she works with things like that. Literally, that's her. I forgot what she exactly does. It's kind of a hard name, but she literally works with people like that and helps them get through like trauma or anything that they've went through traumatic in their lives. So probably call her, not just for me, but for anybody else who needs the help.
Definitely your aunt. Yep. Glad you have her on your side. You know, there's hotlines, there's lifelines that we can call also. We'll start with the suicide prevention hotline. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 800-273-8255. If you feel that someone in your life is thinking about suicide, or they've told you these things, or you can identify some signs of them, you know, insinuating that to you, please don't hesitate to call the lifeline here. There's other lifelines that we can call, or other mental health supports that we can call as well.